Hey guys, and welcome back to the World War II Solitaire board game channel and another fresh off the printer episode. And this is gonna be just discussing a very simple print and play game, which is also a roll and write solitaire game. So today we're gonna be looking at Panzer Dice 2nd edition. You have seen this game before, but in the first edition, and I have that here just so that if you stumble upon this game, you will know which is the first and the second edition. So this right here is the first edition, that's the old edition, that's the one that you don't want. You want this one, the second edition. So what's new with the second edition? It has the same rules, the same quite cool and simple gameplay as the first edition, but it's streamlined and the translation is greatly improved because this game is created by a chap named Miguel Duran in South America, and the first edition had some major problems with the translation. I could learn how to play the game after talking with the designers, but there were still some things that were kind of hard understanding, but that has been greatly improved with the second edition. There are still a few translation errors, but there is nothing that you will not be able to understand. So basically the game has some updated translations. You can see some small errors remaining. For example, the game sheet here we have, for some reason it's in Spanish. Would be cool if it was in English instead. I think it was in the first edition, the gameplay example. Then we have the gameplay example here of game sheet 2. And you can see here, let's see if you can read, yeah. We have villages, items of infantry, but then we have Panzer Destruidos, and I think that's destroyed panzers. Yeah, mark each time you destroy a panzer die. So there are some just leftovers, some small errors, but again, nothing that is not possible to figure out on your own. Phase 3, the panzer die shooting and bombing raid, was especially hard for me to understand with the first edition, but I've read all of it now with the second edition, and again, it's greatly improved. So that's great. And maybe you did not watch me play the first edition. I do have a gameplay, a playthrough of the first edition, but I'm just going to show you here quickly how a game works. So the great thing with Panzer Dice is that, for me anyway, when I hear print and play, I don't feel very attracted to it because I have the funds, so I can buy a game that's printed and ready to play. I don't have to be messing around with printing. But when it comes to this game, it just requires you to print these pages. So you don't have to do any counters or anything like this. This is all you basically need when you have learned the rules. This is going to be everything that you need. And you're going to need 8d6, and you're gonna need cubes or a pencil and a eraser. I prefer to play with cubes. So anyway, let's take a look at how this game works. First of all, this is the map. Our mission is to get all the way across this field up to this to these flags over here. So we'll start by rolling a d6 to see where we start. And we roll a 4, so we're gonna start over here, and we'll mark our T34 with a red cube. And then we're gonna be rolling, and this is the fun part because you never know what happens. You can be really lucky or you can be not so lucky. What we don't want with the rolls are 2s and 3s. And we got 1 2 and 1 3, so that's not so good, but it's alright. So the 2 and the 3s, they will become enemy panzers shooting at us. And it's for us to decide which one of them each die is going to be. And depending on which panzer we choose, it can fire at hull track A, hull track B, or hull track C. So, for example, if we would have a lot of damage over here on hull track C, which is on the right side, we might want to place out the Panzers over here on this side. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and place one of them here and one of them here, and then we have 2 fire dice, we have 1 radio orders, and we have 1 movement or advanced die. So the radio order is really cool because it lets you convert it to anything you want. We can convert it to a repair, a fire, or an advance. And I think, let's see, 2 for each additional used. So that would give me a total of 5 shots. Okay, so I'm gonna convert it to a fire. And the thing that happens now then, okay, now I'm gonna do the movement because then you get to see how the fire of the enemy panzers work. So you will go with your orders from top to down. So next is gonna be a fire. So we have 1 damage plus 2 for each additional die used. So we have a total of 3 damage. So we're gonna go ahead and target this panzer and knock him out. So he's done for. And by doing so, we have shot a total of 2 times. So we need to decrease our ammunition here, again with a cube, or you can use a pencil, by 2. And then we have 2 advanced die, so move to an adjacent hexagon, plus 2 for each additional die used. So we are going to want to move into one of these houses, because they represent villages, and the villagers are usually quite helpful. So 1, 2, 3, and then by moving we have to decrease our fuel by the amount of areas we move. So we go from 23 to 20 in fuel. And now we're gonna go ahead and roll here on this table to see if these villages help us. We roll a 4, and that means we can choose 2 flamethrowers and 3 ammunition, or 3 in fuel. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the fuel. So we reset the fuel to 23. So our fuel is up to max again. And now comes the bad part. Now comes the panzer shooting. So with the panzer shooting, we're going to go ahead and roll only 1d6. However, if our T-34 tank is in one of these gray areas, we're going to have to roll 2 of them. But since we're in a white area, we only need to roll 1. If we get a 1 or a 2, this panzer is gonna activate and fire at us and do the amount of damage that is the number on the die. So this guy is gonna do 2 damage if we roll a 1 or a 2. So let's see. And we roll a 3, so we are safe. That would activate this panzer and this panzer. So we were very lucky to take out this guy. Otherwise, we would have taken 3 damage to whole track C. And that is the end of the turn, and that's just how it keeps going. Now this time, when we roll, instead of rolling 6d6, we're just going to get to roll 5, since one of them is locked in onto that panzer. And this time we are very lucky. Or not so lucky, we get a lot of repair die, and we don't really need those. So actually we're not very lucky. And then we have to do the same thing over and over again. And basically if you ever roll more dice than available spaces for tanks, there is going to be a bombing. And the first time that happens, you can start with having a cube on the Ilyushin Russian planes. The first time that happens, say that I have 5 panzers and I roll a 6th panzer, a 2 or a 3, it will be a bombing, and all of these guys are going to go down. And then you switch it to Stuka, and the second time that happens, it bombs my T-34. I also believe the tanks go away, but I take 3 damage on each track. So anyway, there's lots more to find out about this game. Once you get further on, you're going to have to meet puck emplacements, minefields. You're going to have to use some of these cool, like Mortar, Panzerfaust, Flamethrower, and so on, to reach your goal. It also has difficulty levels, and it includes 3 different scenarios aside from the standard game. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna put a link in the description of this video where you can get this game. Panzer Dice 2nd edition, highly recommended game, which is really a lot of fun for just basically being 2 pages here and a bunch of dice and tokens. Okay guys, thank you for watching. As always, stay safe. See you next time.